Hello everybody, welcome to the Great Cosmic Shift. This is Cyrus Kirkpatrick, and today we are talking about the false light teachings. When I first began as a telepathic clairaudient communicator, I began communicating with many of the same sources that you see on the internet again and again. For example, the Ashtari, the Arcturans, the Lyrans, as well as the Angelic Order, which you might see actually repeatedly on the internet as communications with the archangels, Michael and Gabriel, and a host of others. Of course, I found out all of these sources are real, and I began having manifestation experiences, miracles happening, communications, actual literal physical manifestations around me, lights flying around. I began communications with what we call the magical spectrum. I talked about this in a prior video with communications to the fairy kingdoms. I apologize if you saw that video and noticed that this nice image I have up of a member of the community of like this white fairy. It was stuck on the screen the whole video, at least half the video. I got a bunch of complaints about that. Sorry about that. But anyway, since I first began all those communications, what I came to find was that number one, it's all real, it's all accurate. And you begin communicating with those channels, and it's like you one miracle after another comes into your life, including physical healing, direct communications, things literally manifesting around you, apportations, and actually being a part of that whole, let's call it cosmic culture, right? The second thing, though, is that with all my sources unanimously, since this whole thing began, they've warned me about one thing in particular, which is the false light teachings. Now, excuse me, what is the false light teachings? Now, basically they tell me that all over the internet you're going to find variable levels of communication with some of these same sources. This includes Lord Arcturus, this includes the Archangelic Order. Here's the Angelic Order. The Angelic Order is essentially a higher density division of the Greek Orthodox Church that became a kind of what we would call like almost like a militia movement that began to manifest divinity in its own right. Above the Angelic Order is the Archangelic Order, and the Archangelic Order, well, let me back up because they're kind of synonymous at this point, but let's just say the higher Archangelic Order is actually a higher level spectrum of very, very ancient divine beings. I've communicated as a channel before with Metatron, for example, and these are all real as well. These are ancient beings that we find in our ancient scriptures, and they're kind of the ruling divine body of the cosmos. And they're very, very happy to make contact with this planet because this planet is a massive humanitarian mission for them. So if someone comes along like me, you can communicate, you're gonna get all the attention in the cosmos on you because so many higher forces want to make contact with this planet and want to assist. So with that said, with all those communications that poured forth and my literal involvement with those beings, as well as being able to get manifested when I sleep up into those realities, there is an ongoing warning about other people who are communicating, but they will receive the wrong messages, sometimes because they have soul collectives or they belong to soul collectives who will actually tamper with those communications because they are trying to promote a philosophy. This philosophy is called a civilization killer. Now, there's ancient civilizations out in the greater multiverse that adopt this philosophy, and they sometimes become great and terrifying empires. Many civilizations adopt these philosophies and they simply fall apart. I might hear some music out my door. I think my roommate's playing music. But anyway, so what can I tell you then about the false light teachings? The false light teachings are basically the idea that there is no such thing as evil. I mean, there's more than one false light teaching, but we are playing roles, whereas somebody will enter your life playing the role of the bad guy. We play the role of the good guy, then our life ends and we switch it around. Now somebody else gets to become the terrible cannibal killer, and then we get to be the good guy. Then we die, and then now we are Jeffrey Dahmer, and then we get to eat somebody else. All of it's about learning, so we can go back into the higher reality, and then what? Okay, now I guess everyone's eating popcorn. and just like, wow, this is so entertaining. We get to come back down, and you're Jeffrey Dahmer and I'm the victim. It's like, does this make any sense to you? Actually, no. This is called a aberration, an abomination. This way of looking at life actually can destroy an entire civilization, because it promotes, first of all, it promotes subjectivism. So it's the idea that we manifest our realities to such an extent that nothing else really exists except our own prism, which we also call solipsism. Secondly, it promotes moral relativism. Moral relativism is that what we do doesn't matter because life is a theater, life is a stage. So the very concept, excuse me, the very concept that we are really just playing roles, and that horrible negative actions do not matter, is this type of terrifying philosophy that very evil beings will adopt as a way to justify their behaviors. One group that comes to mind that thinks like this with the Zeta Reticuli. Now, these are the gray aliens that you see in the media, you know, with the big almond eyes and gray skin and very strange looking faces that don't look like we'd expect in other races that have a similar motif of the almond eyes. Some of these civilizations that do weird things to people and do very cruel and unusual things and hybridize us. If you've seen the film Fire in the Sky about Travis Walton's experience, first of all, it's all bullshit. His experience was with a very, very benevolent, actually an Ashtari spin-off civilization called the Manzirans. But that film actually accurately encompasses the horrors of a Zeta Reticuli abduction experience. So how can something in the higher density cosmos, that's supposed to be the venerated, exalted, high density cosmos, turn into cruelty? Because they adopt a philosophy that life is a theater, life is a game, and our actions and consequences do not matter. So let's take it away from the ET higher density spectrum. Let's look at our own lives. What a perfect philosophy to become a criminal with, because I'm just playing the role of a bad guy, you're playing the role of a victim, and we all can come into harmony and realize that this is not the way life really works. We're all going to ascend into our higher selves. Our higher selves are perfect, which means you can be the most corrupt person on earth. You can be, excuse me, I keep wanting to, it's always like this when I make a video. My mouth gets dry. I start wanting to cough and scratch my nose. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to re-edit this thing, so we gotta go with it. Okay. For example, you can be the most corrupt politician. Maybe you're a real estate dealer who just, only cares about the money. You can kind of walk around with a fake smile on your face, and then you can go into the New Age movement and recite platitudes like, how do you say? It's like, in the afterlife there is no punishment. We all go to heaven. All dogs go to heaven. So what this is doing is, first of all, this weird philosophy I'm taught is made manifest by soul collectives. We die, we cross over, we go into the light. The light takes us into a collective of souls. It could be our ancestors and many others. And it becomes this kind of like boxed in environment, whereupon it's like an insulated environment. And within that insulated environment, lots and lots of souls get to convince themselves that they are high and pure and righteous and beautiful beings, even if they had a life on earth where their karma is in very bad shape. But there is no karma. We've transcended beyond karma. Now we are looking at life from a higher vantage point. All this stuff sounds profound if you're high. Like if you're high, you're smoking something, you're reading this stuff on the internet, it sounds like profound wisdom. It's like, wow, man, it's like nothing really matters, because it's like we're all the same, and even a bad guy is just playing a role, and I'm just playing the role of the victim. And as the victim, it's like I don't have to be, because it's just a stage, man. It's just a big theater we're all in, man. We just have to learn to we can just love each other and be one. And it's like, if there's a bad guy or somebody who's doing bad things, if there's some, if there's a Vladimir Putin, doesn't matter, because they're our brother also. They're just playing a role, man. They're not really evil. Let me tell you something. I shouldn't have eaten that wasabi because I keep coughing. Let me tell you something. This is, it's like this attitude is called a civilization killer. So do we want that philosophy in our civilization? No. It gives people what they feel is a free pass. And so in soul collectives, all these souls come together and they convince themselves that this is what's really going on. They all live in harmony, quote, and they all feed each other like this dopamine rush of positivity. And they all live in this environment where they will then go from a soul collective, and the soul collective is very powerful. It's a collective of, imagine 1,000 people's energy, and this is Gaia Earth magic power, really powerful. They can hang out in that soul collective. Like, I'm probably going to be under some kind of psychic attack just for making this video. It happens to me a lot. A bunch of soul collectives will be aware of that I'm making this video, and then they'll start like zooming in on me, trying to get into my head, trying to attack me, and all that kind of thing. And they'll start, you'll notice it because you get physiological symptoms. You'll get invasive thoughts entering into your mind. They'll try to alter your dreams, and then my team will have to come in, necessary, destroy the soul collective. So it can get really ugly doing this kind of work, because what's going on in these soul collectives is there could be people in those collectives who have done bad things. There could be people in those collectives who could be career criminals from the 1800s. It could be like Quakers and Puritans and religious fundamentalists. So they all come together and kind of live as this kind of astral cult, and they're just continually feeding each other positivity and positive emotions. And then someone dies, their ancestors take them away, and they all manifest as the light, and they bring somebody in, and it's like the most beautiful, loving experience, given all this unconditional love and sympathy, and you're with us now. It's the most beautiful thing imaginable. But when you actually get over there, living there in the mental and the non-physical realities, one will find that it's like an environment where you have to follow the rules and do exactly and think exactly how they think. Now, they're all hiding from their karma sometimes because they don't want to face what they did on Earth. And facing what they did on Earth can be very, very painful. But don't we have life reviews when we die? I don't know. In these situations, probably not, or they're going to be constructed life reviews that's going to skip over the actual lessons. Karma is unavoidable. Karma means that you do something bad to somebody else, you're going to have to pay recompense somehow, emotionally, psychologically, physically. Like, it's going to be buried within you if you are being unfair, unjust, and cruel on purpose to innocent people. So it's also very scary if you've done bad things, because you want to hide from that and try to shirk responsibilities. So in the soul collectives, there'll be lots of souls doing that, and they'll develop a philosophy saying that we have actually ascended beyond our misdeeds, and now we are higher beings, and we are going to guide humanity. So the soul collective begins in getting into people's thoughts. People become channels to soul collectives. The soul collectives will imitate Arcturans, imitate Ashtari, imitate the magic collectives, imitate the archangels. So they can begin bringing forth one exclusive message, which is that life is a theater, and we all get to ascend to this higher vantage point. We become higher dimensional beings. We no longer have to worry about anything we did on Earth. We play bad guys as a role. We play good guys as a role as well. And basically we're all on a collision course to ascend back into godhood, because all of us are actually God. So not only do you not have to worry about your actions in life, not only do you not have to worry about whether or not you treat people well, but in addition to that, you get to become God at the end of it all. You get to transcend or ascend up, 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 up. Now I really need to clear my throat, so let's pause this, let me just turn off the mic for a second. And I'm done. I can take it out of you when you're talking and talking and talking and talking. Some people can do it easier than I can do. So this is a little bit of a problem. So these soul collectives then will impersonate many of these groups. So someone will begin talking to Arcturans, or the Anshar, or the Ashtar, or Lyrans, the angelic order, the magic collectives, the world of Myelinos I spoke about in the prior video. The teachings will begin okay, but then the soul collective, it gets very insecure and does not want teachings to go out that we have to be held to a level of self-responsibility. See what I mean? So they don't want that teaching. So what they want is to try to infiltrate and promote this type of New Age false light teaching religion. And that New Age false light teaching religion actually grows so powerful on this planet, it becomes a kind of how do you say it? So I was actually feeling I was getting a message just then, like, because I sometimes will start these talks and I'll begin receiving telepathic input. And basically what I was being told is that it's a kind of how do you say it? There's a machine that gets built in society. And that machine is directly related to what is believed to be transcendent spirituality. And they can take guises of Eastern spirituality or the New Age movement and even popular figures and major genres, near-death experiences, and many others, you see. And what will happen is people will unify and believe that this is our path to surrender up to God and we can become one with the cosmos. And that they also believe that this is the true enlightened way of living, is to know that good and bad do not exist. And that we should be very forgiving of the worst, most horrible people in our lives because they're also a part of God. Right? Yeah. Pretty bad. So you might be someone who also has encountered these teachings. I do anytime I look on a freaking New Age shelf or I go to certain groups on Facebook. Just think about it logically and critically. And consider that every single group that I communicate to says the same thing. Be careful of the New Age movement. Be careful of the false light teachings. And so much of it is also a process of, it takes narcissists, strokes the egos of narcissists, and provides more narcissistic supply by providing lots and lots of unwitting victims who get to begin forgiving their attackers, forgiving the people tormenting them, while the tormentors get to enjoy feeding off of all that abuse. Because now they're unified in a religion where it's like, well, I am now the victim and you're the victimizer. It's so beautiful. And this is literally what people think. The angelic order says that it is madness. So, something to think about. Please subscribe to this channel if you agree with this message or this channel will sink. My other channel, Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, is shut down because my Gmail was very conveniently hacked. I spent 9 months away and I have had no access to my Patreon until very recently. So if you were a patron last year or this year and you didn't get a reading or one-on-one contact with me and you were donating, please contact me at cosmicshiftawakening@gmail.com and I can get you squared away. If you want to become a patron, it's at patreon.com/afterlife topics. I have been, I received a couple comments and emails from very angry people because they signed up as patrons last year or this year and they couldn't reach me. Sometimes shit happens. I'm sorry. I really want to provide, readings or past life sessions or whatnot to anyone who helps support this work. But if I'm missing, I'm missing. Okay, I don't want to be missing. I want to be here doing work. So please keep that in mind. And again, you can contact me, and the subscription really helps. And also, Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics on Facebook. That's the main community to join. There will be a Cosmic Shift, a great Cosmic Shift Facebook community in the near future as well. And I'm also busy making my next book, which is going to involve quite a lot of secrets of the cosmos that I know that you will enjoy. But in the meantime, I have plenty of content up here for you to enjoy as well. This is Cyrus with the Great Cosmic Shift. I'll talk to you next time.